to make sure that we're getting the stream on tap here. But we are here at DaytonaBR, the classic Bryan Ring track, for the NASCAR Classic Cup Series, 100 laps around DaytonaBR. I am Sean Fay, the creator and owner of Rubbin Racin Motorsports, and I am alongside Travis Rowland, who you might remember from the birthday bash. Travis Rowland will be commentating with me as well in the booth.
You know, it got that drivers only stuff going on. So it's going to be a good day, hopefully, here. We got 100 laps. We're going to be... We should be playing it a little safe at the start. Can't really tell what these guys are going to do. But we should be set here for 100 laps. Should be a smooth ride. Maybe not that many cautions. We're expecting definitely one or two, because it's Daytona. You can't get away from those. But it should be, for the most part, a clean race. We got a lot of guys out here. We got... I think the strongest team out here today would be Chance 3 Motorsports. I believe they are top of the board, all three of them. No, Kurt has top. So, no, wait, what the hell am I doing? All right, yeah, so Jimmy is P1, and the other Chance 3 cars are P3 and 4. So they're really strong performance today. And for P2 is Kurt Scott, and he is the only Sean Fay Motorsports car gridding today because, you know, we're in the booth.
Yes, we are, indeed.
RC cars. So we have to have him, gotta let him run that. So he's gotta pull the weight. But we got good field today. Got 8 cars that have set a lap so far. I believe we have 9 or 10. Yeah, we have 9 drivers, and 8 have set laps so far.
Yes, I believe we have 9 on track, right? Or 9, yes, registered, signed up right now that are in the server. So that'll be good. So definitely be an exciting race to cap off Rubbin Racin Motorsports. It is the opening weekend here. We just finished up with Rolo's Developmental League. Let's talk about Travis Rowland again. Rolo's Developmental League bringing on some hopefully better drivers for the other 4 series. It's a chance to test skills and be able to obtain better skills, to be able to join the other 4 series as far as being able to be competitive. And also, race clean. That's the main key. As long as drivers are clean, then definitely we can have them on tap. We just don't need too many crashes. But definitely, we just finished up with Rolo's Developmental League, and right now we are getting ready with NASCAR Classic Cup Series. Tomorrow night we have the main NASCAR Series at 6 p.m., and then at 8 p.m. we have the Supreme All Dirt Slugfest. So definitely, if you're a dirt fan and you like some dirt stuff, definitely come on out tomorrow night at 8 p.m. on Twitch to be able to see the action. So definitely it'll be exciting.
Yeah, most definitely it will be. We've got loads of up-and-coming talent down there in RDL, and we've got a nice, exciting opening week ahead of us, or weekend. So it should be some good racing all across the board for every series.
Absolutely. Currently, right now, we have on the board, as I check my game here, we have on the board Jimmy Powell, first place with a 48.879. Kurt Scott, yes, that SFM engine, up in second with a 44.9. And then we got Rob Evans in third, Johnny Gardner fourth, David Alvarez in fifth, Brady Crum, in sixth, Edwin Justice in seventh, and then we have DL Hopkins in eighth and Zachary Stecker in ninth. So definitely, it seems like the drivers are putting on really good times here. It's going to be an exciting one.
Yeah, you bet. We have a few new faces on track today. One being the number 86 of
It is DL Hopkins.
DL Hopkins, that's him. He is a veteran, I believe, of NR, and he has quite a few years under his belt. But he will be working off some of the rust here this weekend, because as we've learned, he has not been online racing competitively since around 2002. So there's definitely some rust built up, but he's looking to shake it off here. He's got a decent single car speed running, so we'll see how he runs during the race. Maybe he's got some good strategy. So we're looking forward to that. We also have 2 new cars in the field. Those are under Chance 3 Motorsports. The number 8 of Rob Evans, and we have the number 08 of Johnny Gardner. And those guys just joined Chance 3 just before this race, and they've been putting on some good times this weekend, and they've put a strong performance in RDL, so they're definitely someone to look out for. And for being first-time starters, they're pretty far up on the practice board.
Definitely. They are putting on some blazing times here, especially with, surprised with DL. He's doing pretty good, as well as, I was blanking on what the other name you said, too.
It was Rob and it was Johnny that I... Oh, no. Edwin Justice is also another driver here in the number 42. He has a slightly better single-car run than the 86, I believe. So those are our two newest drivers. And Rob and Johnny we've been knowing each other for a while, and then they decided to hop on today. But two completely new drivers are the 86 and the 42.
Yes, and it'll be exciting for them to get on the track and see how everything works. We still have another just under 5 minutes of practice, so definitely, sure enough, we'll be having qualifying, and then we will have the pre-race ceremonies, which will be definitely exciting for the drivers. And on top of that, we will get underway with 100 laps here at DaytonaBR. It's definitely going to be an endurance for these drivers, especially if they haven't raced long races like this. It'll be about half the distance that a typical Daytona race will be, obviously, since it's 50%, so definitely it'll be exciting. I feel like I'm going to say that 50 more times, Travis, but it is. I think that's going to be the key for tonight, excitement. Hopefully we can get some good racing on tap, and definitely we'll be able to see what these drivers can put on the track.
Yeah, most definitely. I know that we have a pretty big field out here, and we've got some veterans mixing in with some new guys, so it's definitely going to be a battle of experience and just kind of conserving to the end, because I know that these guys are running on the ragged edge. They've got they're probably pushing some sort of tire pressure adjustment that, I mean, they got to be really going for right now. Maybe grill tape as well. They're just trying to get all they can out of these cars, and they're definitely going to be really close together. So I wouldn't count out the possibility of like a bump drafting gone wrong sort of wreck or something like that. Just close proximity, and you know how latency is. That can end really badly. So, I mean, it's all about kind of luck here and who's going to play the right strategy. But it is going to be an exciting race, I'll give you that.
Definitely with sim racing, that is the one key thing that you would not experience in a real-life car, is that little thing called latency, or in other terms, lag, as it would be called. And also, I'm trying to think of the other thing. I'm blanking on it. Yes, I think that's what I was thinking, netcode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For anyone that doesn't know what netcode is when the game, because latency will happen. There's going to be a delay between the cars because it's all connected through internet. So we're definitely going to have a delay of some sort. So when that delay becomes apparent between two drivers, like they could even have good internet, but if they're connected to the server and they're not quite perfect on the internet, the game can register one of them as closer or farther away from another. So that can really play a really huge factor at plate tracks, because even though you could be clear by like a good foot or so, the game could register you as right there, and it could ruin your whole day. You can accidentally door somebody because they think the car is there when it actually isn't. So it's all about, we're all at the mercy of the game is the point here. Like we can drive the best we can, but the game is going to have something to do with that. Like we can't get too close or else it's going to be an issue. So I mean, we have to play different from real life drivers because they obviously don't have to worry about it latency, but it's just a whole new kind of world compared to real racing. But I mean, that's just another thing we have to get used to as sim racers. It's just, adapting to the changes. So if you do see something, we will definitely point that out, and you will probably hear that term used later in the race. But that's essentially a rundown. So it happens a lot. So expect to see that a lot during streams or any motorsport or sim racing event that you see on Twitch, or maybe even this one. There'll be a lot of that happening.
Yeah, it's definitely something that, again, it's something you won't really expect when you're obviously you wouldn't expect it if you're in a real life race car, but Oh, well, of course, if you want to look at the 2018 season currently for NASCAR, we've had a lot of stuff like that happening, especially with the Daytona 500 and some of the wacky stuff. And actually, I was thinking of the clashes. I think the clash races is what I was thinking of. We had a lot of that issue with. Obviously, that's aero, but it makes you kind of think of that netcode type of thing where it's like, wait a minute, how did he crash? Well, it's aero, but in a sim racing world, that could be described as netcode.
Yeah, so I mean, you can just go wild and imagine that, oh, whenever netcode happens, I don't know, someone took the air off of this guy's spoiler or took the air off the quarter. So I mean, it's kind of the same thing. Imagine we're just running really low downforce cars, and if you get too close, the air is going to do what air is going to do, and it's going to not benefit somebody, so we're going to have an incident somewhere. But if we can all keep it clean, we'll be fine. But I mean, there's a line to be drawn, like you single file or racing hard. But I can definitely see maybe the middle portion of the race being sort of a calm down single file, kind of just riding around, try not to wreck. But I can guarantee you the start and the finish are probably going to be really high interest spots, as well as restarts if we have those. Those will bunch up the field back up, and it'll be definitely interesting to see what they do side by side. But that's just kind of sim racing for you. So if you ever do hear that term thrown around, that's what we're referring to.
Definitely. It was a great little discussion about latency, one of the things that sim racers have to face. And pretty much practice is about wrapping up. There's still a little bit of time that NR 2003 utilizes to allow the drivers to get back to pit road. Most drivers will just go around the track until the server just says, nope, you're going on the qualifying. So you'll see some of the drivers still driving around, but there's still just about in a couple of seconds, hopefully, or at least momentarily, we will be moving on to qualifying, and definitely we'll get to see what these drivers can put out. They're putting out some really good times, so definitely we can see what the others are going to be doing as far as times, and as far as qualifying times, that is. Hopefully they were utilizing some qualifying setups as well as race setups to get prepared for that, so definitely we'll be able to see what everybody's doing. But definitely it'll be, again, it's going to be said again and again and again, it's going to be an exciting one, hopefully. So everybody's just about wrapping up, and I believe everybody's off the track right now. Qualifying has begun, so what I will be doing here is I'll be showing the qualifying times here, so we can definitely see what comes in, and the drivers should be going out right now to see how, and they'll be able to see how their qualifying times will be. So definitely we'll see what times come in for them shortly. But this is the opener for Rubbin Racin Motorsports. This is the NASCAR Classic Cup Series with original NR 2003 mod cars. They're going around DaytonaBR right now, the classic Brian Ring track. Not as classic as arguably Talladega BR. If you want to quote Dale Earnhardt Jr. from, I believe it was the Busch Series in 2004, if I'm correct, Travis?
Yeah, I think it was 04 Busch race. He got Martin Truex the victory by using good old Brian Ring tracks.
Hey, tell him about Talladega BR. Tell him about. He'll know what I'm talking about. Talladega BR. So definitely, it's gonna be an enjoyable one, hopefully, as well as exciting.
If you want to feel like Junior, just go on down to NR2K Weebly and get that Talladega BR, and you'll be all set.
Absolutely, and you'll be able to whip around here. It'll be exciting. So momentarily, we should be getting in some times. Obviously, NR 2003 does not show the cars. It's not like iRacing where you can have open qualifying sessions where you can actually see the drivers. NR 2003, hate to admit it, it's old school. So you won't be able to see any of the drivers. All you'll see is lap times as the drivers come around the start-finish line to clock them. So we'll have to see eventually. There'll be some times coming in, but 100 laps. I'm kind of thinking that these drivers are going to have a lot to do as far as racing. I mean, half the distance. Most races, they're probably into 50s or 50 laps or so, but it's going to be hopefully an enjoyable one. Now we're getting some times. Jimmy Powell up at the top right now with 46.002. Rob Evans behind him in second. There should be more times clocked pretty momentarily again, pretty soon. We'll have to see what happens. But Jimmy Powell at the top right now. We got Edwin Justice coming into second with a 46.369. We'll have to see if anyone else. Others should be coming around. And there's DL Hopkins.
There's Hopkins.
There is Hopkins in fourth with a 47.6. More drivers.
Yeah, it's not much of a surprise that Chance 3 or kind of setting the pace here because I know that they've been really, really trying to get their super speedway program up to good standards and be really competitive. And they've been practicing a whole lot during speed weeks and trying to get that all set up. So
Yes,
it's not much of a surprise that they're up there, but
yeah, definitely, and they're really trying to put on a great show, especially for the first race for the Classic Cup Series, so they're trying to really step it up and do the best they can. But I don't see any others. I see Jimmy improved his time with a 45.7, blazing fast. We got Edwin Justice in second with a 46.1, Rob Evans is a 46.516, and DL Hopkins in fourth with a 47.331. It's about 40 seconds left of qualifying, so I'm not quite sure. I'm assuming the other drivers just elected not to qualify. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, I guess. It depends, I guess, as far as strategy, whether you want to deal with being up in front or if you want to deal with the pack.
yeah, and I mean, people may underestimate how important the Daytona 500 is. I mean, it can go both ways. People, I mean, every driver wants to chase that trophy. Everyone wants it, but I mean, you don't really have to you don't have to get a really good start here during the season, but it sure will help. This will really be a good points booster, and if super speedways are like your best track, then this is definitely a place you want to make sure you're strong. But you can still definitely pull a really strong performance outside of plate tracks. So I mean, you don't really need to win. If you get a good points day, that's good. But you don't I mean, the guys don't have to really run super hard. If they want the trophy, yeah, they're gonna run hard. But it can go either way. It's a good points booster, but it's been proven many times that you don't need to win the 500 in order to win the championship or make a good showing of it. So it all depends on how the drivers feel about the later tracks. Like if they're not good about what's the next track, Atlanta. If they're not good about 1.5 miles, then they're gonna have to make sure they drive their heart out here. But if they're maybe not that bad at tracks like those and they don't really want to get in a wreck here, they can hang back and they can still make a pretty decent run at the championship. Because it is the chase format, but it's the 04 chase. So
Yes.
you can run decent the first part of the season, and then once the chase kicks in, you can really start going for it. So, I mean, you definitely don't need to show here. That's why I'm in the booth even, because I didn't want to show tonight.
Speaking of which, it is time for the pre-race ceremonies. So it is time to get out on track for, yes, the pre-race ceremony. And now for the invocation.
Let's pray. God, we pause now, thankful for the blessings of a night like this one. We pray protection for each competitor, every driver and crew member. And above all, we wouldn't enjoy an evening like this without remembering the blessings of our freedoms and those who provide them. So we pray your protection and presence to each one who serves us and to their families. We ask all this by their grace and presence with us always. Amen.
And now, for the singing of our nation's national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home
Alrighty, so definitely the drivers are going to be ready to go in just about a minute and 10 seconds. So definitely, now the drivers are going to be strapped in. They're going to be ready to go. So definitely, again, we are here at DaytonaBR. It's going to be an exciting one for 100 laps. It's much longer than most sim racers, or hopefully these drivers have not really dealt with this long as far as the racing. So it's going to be interesting to see how they last with 100 laps at DaytonaBR. So we'll definitely get that going pretty soon. Just about 30 seconds, a little over. So definitely, I know, Travis, you were saying earlier about definitely the chances of being able to take a break for a little bit, because we are using the 2004 point standings as well as simple chase standings as well.
Yeah, so, I mean, since we're using the chase, you don't have to run hard, like, for the start of the season, let's say. If you're just here to fill the field, to get, like, at least last place points, you can go for it, and you can still make a decent run for the championship, because it's more lax with the chase, but once it gets into the chase, it's going to get a lot more hectic, but you're more laid back as, like, in terms of being able to contend for the championship, because the actual championship run starts more later into the season, like race, I don't know what it sets for, like 20, 15. So in the regular season, you just have to make sure you get like consistent finishes and you are able to make it over the chase cutoff. And then we'll have about, I forget how many drivers, but it's just going to be points reset, and it's going to be 5 bonus points.
Drivers.
It's going to go from like 50 or 45 down to 5 bonus points for whoever gets in the chase. So like if you enter higher in the chase, you get more chase points, which is incentive to, really go hard these first few races. But on the other hand, you also want to weigh in that you're going to need to be conservative and you don't want to wreck your car too early, because then you're not going to get those bonus points anyway. So it's really a game of luck, a game of strategy. What are you going to do? How are you going to play it out? But it's gonna be a good championship, I can tell you that. But the point system really benefits drivers if they don't really feel comfortable at a certain kind of track and stuff like that. So it really helps out, but sometimes it doesn't really work too well for people that like going hard at the beginning. I mean, you can obviously win the race and then you'll be fine, but you could get a little too aggressive and then wreck, and then you're sitting with a torn up race car, and then now you're in the bottom of the point standings for the first race.
Definitely, and definitely it's going to be very interesting, especially, too, once the chase comes and 5,000 points get inserted. It's going to be definitely quite the points battle, especially once we get into the chase. But without further ado, pretty soon, I think it's waiting momentarily. Eventually, the drivers will get the command to start the engines, and we will be going 100 laps here at DaytonaBR.
Are you live? Like on the live thing in your NR thing? Because the drivers for me have already rolled off.
Folks, that's a highly embarrassing thing to happen where the game just tabs out. It's definitely the experience of hosting and and streaming. So bear in mind, I've never streamed before, so it's gonna be a journey. That's for sure. But yeah, that's a very eek moment. Yeah.
So here is your starting grid for the Daytona, what is it, 250? Yeah, because it's 50%. So
yes,
this
the
is the
Daytona
rundown.
250.
We have Jimmy Powell, number 81 on pole. Starting alongside of him is the 42 of Edwin Justice. Now, Jimmy's been really strong at plate tracks. We all know this.
Yes.
And in row 2, we have Rob Evans, and we have the 86 of Hopkins?
DL Hopkins.
DL, that's what it is. I keep thinking DI. But
Yep.
he is on the outside of row 2. Now, that means the 8 is in the same row as Jimmy, so expect there to be a really good start for those Chance 3 cars.
Yes.
Now, further back in the row, we have, for row 3, we have the 15 of Kurt Scott and the number 56 of Zachary Stecker. And Stecker and David Alvarez are sitting in the back of the pack. They're probably going for conservative. Like, they're a team that they kind of want to just get the points, get out of here, run. They don't want
Absolutely. And now it's time for the second most famous words in motorsports.
Folks, everybody's on their feet. I've been waiting for 6 months to do this. Boogity, boogity, boogity! Let's go racing, boys!
And they're off at DaytonaBR. 100 laps has begun.
Yeah, that was a little unexpected. I expected the 8 to go with the 81 there and work together. Maybe they're working on some sort of, maybe Jimmy's going to start pushing. Because he was talking about that in practice, that he was going to mostly be the support character in his team, that he's not really going to try to run up front. He's just going to try to play NASCAR 07, if you will, just kind of get all of his teammates up front and kind of just like keep him there. So what I guess that he's just trying to drop back so he doesn't get in a wreck, or he's trying to help the 8 car. But we already have some moves happening down here in the field. We have the 68 going side by side with the 81 down here, exiting 4. And we have a smaller car battle back in the field. We're side by side coming to the line. We have DL Hopkins and Brady Crum battling for, I believe that is 6th place. Yeah, so the 86 gets away with it. He gets off single file. Now the 56 is going to go into the high line. Maybe he's going to get a pass on the 89. He doesn't have any help, but he's up there really close to the wall. I don't know if he's going to get into it or not.
Yeah, we'll have to definitely see him. Coming up to the wall there, yeah, there's definitely a battle for, I believe it's 5th and 6th, or 6th and 7th, one of the two. Yes, it is for 6th and 7th here. Zachary Stecker in the 56, and the 89 of Brady Crum, and he steps back, so Zachary's going to take that 5th place spot. Kurt Scott's hanging out in the back. And then we have DL Hopkins up in 5th. Jimmy Powell's battling it in 4th. We got the top 4 are all battling here. Looks like Jimmy's trying to make a move on David Alvarez for 3rd. And
now you can really see the importance of the draft at Daytona here, because now already it's lap 3 and we already have 2 distinguished packs. So you can really tell the skill difference between these guys and how they're really playing the strategy and whatnot. So like people in the other second group, they're hanging back, or maybe they're just like their cars aren't set up too well, but they're really trying to give themselves the most reaction time in case there is an incident in the front pack. And the front pack are already battling for those lead lap points. Because if you're looking for a good points day, you're going to need to make sure you at least lead a few laps. If not, you're going to want to lead the most. So they're already battling up front, and that really shows the difference between the performance of these cars and the effort these teams put in here, and how important the draft is, because the front 2 rows got an amazing start, and now they're already pulling away from the rest of the pack. So it really just shows the importance of car setup, like skill, and even strategy. Because I'm not saying the guys in second pack are slow, or they're just not trying. It's just that they're most likely trying to stay out of trouble and make sure they can cross the finish line on lap 100 in one piece. That's really the most important thing here. So it's going to be interesting how it plays out. They seem to be going pretty easy up front. So I wouldn't expect a wreck yet. Maybe it's going to definitely be probably a single car thing, or maybe like back in the pack. But so far they're playing pretty nice.
yeah, it seems like so. And it's very good that, especially with some leagues, you sometimes have that, you experience that quick little jump. I'm trying to think of how you would want to say it, but sometimes you go through that sort of thing where, lap 1, everybody gets excited, and then wrecks occur, and before you know it, you can't restarting 4, 5, 6 times before we finally get the race. And definitely it was very good to see that we did not have that happen today. So already we got nice pack racing going up in the front, but again, as you had said, Travis, it is very interesting, and it does show how much the draft is an important deal here at a super speedway like Daytona, where we got the back of the pack just all the way back there, and they have the top 4 just battling for it up here. And definitely it's some good pack racing, though, definitely from the top 4.
Oh yeah, definitely. We got a lot of side drafting happening. 42 led that lap, I believe, but it really shows how strong that those Chance 3 cars are, because they're hanging tough on the outside. They're locked up. They've really gone over bump drafting and like how they can really just maximize their performance. And it really shows how they have the cars set up that their cars are about as good as they can be right now in the day. They can move them around anywhere they want. They can run any line, and they can make the moves as The 8 car has cleared the 42 for the lead, although Jimmy has dropped back to P4 again.
The 89 of Brady Crum also slid down below the line. I'm wondering if he's got an issue or if he's just trying to feel the track out all the way in the back. He is just in no man's land right now.
Yeah, I believe he's just trying to ride around. Maybe he got a bad wheel input or something there. Maybe latency of the car kind of just like got a little loose on him. I don't know what kind of setup he's running, but he has been looking all right for the whole weekend. He hasn't been front pack, but he's been trying his best, and he had a decent show with RDL. So he's definitely looking to improve here on this plate track performance.
Definitely. It was a good chance for him to try to be able to get some practice in, obviously, with Rolo's Developmental League that had a 1-hour practice session yesterday. It was a good opportunity for the RDL drivers to actually be able to get that full practice session in and be able to really work on setups and try to feel it out. And we got the 8 here spinning. The 8 of Rob Evans, and they get into the 81 as well of Jimmy Powell.
Yeah,
Not sure if the caution's out. We will have to check.
I believe it is.
I don't know if the caution is indeed out.
I don't know if the caution came out or not there.
Well, let's check.
The yellow is out.
The yellow is out here at DaytonaBR.
That is tough luck. I'm gonna actually go back and look at that and see what happened.
Yeah, it looked like
the 8 was trying to get too much out of the track, and he might have gotten the apron a little bit.
Definitely, that's what it looks like to me. It seemed like he got a little low and might have got a little too low, and we could definitely go back on the replay to check that out and see what occurred.
Yeah, definitely. I will give him this. That was a really nice job of keeping that car away from most of that pack. I mean, yeah, he got into Jimmy, but then when he comes down into the other, like, paved part down in the backstretch, he did a really good job keeping it off the wall. But it looks to me that, like, he just was trying to get too much out of it, and he just stepped a little bit below the apron. And when the car has 2 wheels on different surfaces that, like, one's flat and one's more banked, the balance gets thrown off completely in these cars. And they're really, like, you got to really be careful with these things. So I think what happened is he just got maybe the front. The left side wheels in the apron, and maybe it got so that the left wheels gripped, and then it took the right front off the banking, and then when just the left rear is left in the banking, it can really pull the car around because there's wheels off the ground and there's not much grip happening. But definitely, he was just trying to get a little bit too much out of that. I don't know if he was expecting a bump from the 42 maybe, and he went down a little bit more than he would have.
It looks as if both left side tires got below the racing surface, and that was where the 8 lost control and sadly came up into the 81 of Jimmy Powell. But it was a very good save from Evans, definitely, to be able to keep that on the track. Although I'm almost feeling like retracting that statement, thinking about the fact that Jimmy Powell did indeed get into that contact, and regardless,
Yeah.
I mean, it could have went worse, I guess I could say.
No, it definitely could have. We could have lost that whole front group, and that's why I really admire the job he did of making sure the car was turned down to the infield. Because if he had able to grip that car and it overcorrected, it would have easily taken out 3 or 4 of those drivers. There would have been no front pack, and there would have been a lot more damage. But when these cars get to that point when they're put on 2 different surfaces, like 2 different bankings, it's really catastrophic because now you have more airflow under the car, and now you have springs that are set up for the same surface. So if the car is running on just the same surface, the springs are set up to run on that banking, and they will spring and like contract as the bumps go over. But when you get that left side onto the apron, the springs contract like a lot because now there's the weight of the car on the bank side, and now the left side weight is resting on those lower bank tires when you're on the lower bank surface, and then there's air coming under the car, so it just takes the weight off the rear tires, and it just shifts the weight. You got the air coming under it. It really just gets the car out of shape. So you really want to avoid the apron at all costs here. You can definitely save the car on the apron. I'm not saying you can't, but the cars are not made to be on 2 different bankings at once. So that's
Absolutely.
why you just got to really be careful with that. Like, sometimes you can go into a corner and get more front bite than you expected, and that's just kind of how racing is. That might be what happened to Rob. He might have entered a little too high and the car bit, and it came down the track a little more than he wanted to. But I mean, he had a choice there. He could have definitely kind of let off the throttle and got it back up on the top of the track, but then he would have lost positions, maybe even the draft. So I mean, it's definitely it's a split-second decision in racers' mind. You got to see what's the best for me. Like, I mean, yeah, you have teammates, but at the end of the day, you're trying to win the race. Everyone's trying to win the race. So when you get in that decision, he could have locked the brakes up, and he could have took out the whole front. He could have overcorrected, slammed the wall. He could have got off the throttle and went up the track, let everyone by, maybe even lost the draft, or he could have did what he did there. So I mean, it's just a really big mind game here, and once that car is kind of out of control, your options are so limited in these cars.
Definitely. And right now, as the scoring is, David Alvarez is up at the top in first place. Edwin Justice pulled a nice pit stop and got into second place, so it's definitely interesting to see him move all the way up to second place. The 8 of Rob Evans recovers and is back up into third place. The 56 of Zachary Stecker in fourth. DL Hopkins in the 86 in fifth place. Jimmy Powell's all the way back in sixth, sadly. And Brady Crum and Kurt Scott both just pit. They are currently scored in 7th and 8th, so definitely once the drivers come around, we'll be able to see if the scoring changes at all. But currently, David Alvarez up on the top, and the big move looked like it came from the 42 of Edwin Justice. So definitely that was a big move for him coming out of pit road. Definitely a big move from the back to the front, if I'm not mistaken. But the lights on the pace car are still on. They're coming through turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, do a quick damage check on Jimmy's car. It appears he must have gotten most of that repaired on pit road.
He definitely recovered, coming up into third place though. And it's sad for Jimmy. We got Zachary Stecker currently coming down pit road. Hopefully make some adjustments. But the lights, I'm assuming, my guess, the lights on the pace car will be out. And once it gets to the top of the line, or once it gets to the start-finish line. So we'll definitely see in about a moment if that's going to occur. And it did occur. The lights are out right now on the pace car. And we will be going, the next time around, the drivers are going to be back green on lap, wait for it, 12. It'd be lap number 12 of 100 here at DaytonaBR. So, definitely, it's a good race so far. We had some good pack racing up in the front until the 8 of Rob Evans got a little below that line, and that's what got into Jimmy Powell in the 81. And, unfortunately, Jimmy got the brunt of that one, and he's all the way in the back there, up in, I believe, 5th. So, but he won't have...
So, I believe Kurt and Decker came down pit road. Am I correct?
You are correct. Zachary is still on pit road right now. I'm not sure on that either. I believe somebody's sitting on... I believe it's Brady Crum is sitting below the line. He is on the groove right now, or below the apron.
An AFK call right there.
I'm gonna think it's safe to say that's an AFK call right there. That is not a good thing to experience in sim racing, that's for sure. I mean, we just raced last night in the turn. I'm trying to remember what it is. Johnny Gardner, who's racing tonight, it is the Throwback United Racing League. And we raced around Richmond International Raceway, and yeah, I had that moment occur myself. It's not a good feeling, believe it or not. It is not a good feeling. But anyways, aside from that, we are in turn 3 and 4. The lights on the pace car are out. Really not sure what everybody's doing as far as gathering up. I mean, everybody's just all over the place. But... definitely, the 68 of David Alvarez will be starting off on the pole. I'm interested to see what Edwin Justice can do in the 42. Now that he's all the way up in second, we're going to get to see what he can do. But the pace car is coming down pit road, and we will get to the green flag in just a moment here. And we will see they are off, and the green flag is out here at DaytonaBR. We are back underway. We're back under racing.
I see what they were doing.
Lap 13 to 100. What was that, you think, Travis?
You see, now I saw that pass Kurt had, and I don't know if that was him coming off pit road late or he laid back a little bit. Now it's a really controversial weapon to have at your disposal as a race car driver. Like, you can hang back and throttle before the green flag goes out, so you got to jump on the driver. He passed. He almost got by Jimmy, I believe, but he did get by Zachary Stecker, and it's definitely a viable strategy. But like, you can get called out in some leagues for that.
Yeah, definitely. It's very interesting to see that occur, and yeah, that is also explainable too. Trying to make sure everybody's in their proper place, making sure they're in the right spot, ready to go. So definitely, at least the drivers are trying to readjust themselves. But regardless, David Alvarez holds on to the lead. The 42 of Edwin Justice is trying to make a move, but he just cannot find anything. He's still stuck behind that 68, that Coca-Cola 68 of David Alvarez, so he's just holding out to the front, and we will see what can happen here.
I'm really scared of how close they are going into the corners. I think one of them might go around.
Well, that's one thing we don't want to see, but it's pretty close.
How close they're being, and like we were talking about latency in practice, that could easily turn into a not good situation.
Yeah, definitely. And especially with Edwin being a fairly new driver, I'm not sure as far as NR 2003 experience, but new to R&R, I'm curious to see what can occur. And he's really holding his own here, just really getting close to that 68. Close. He's rubbing close there.
Oh, it's not going to end well.
Yeah, I don't know. He's weaving quite a lot. He's really getting onto the back of that 68.
And I think one of them is going to go around.
It's looking like it. He is literally touching bumpers right now with the 68.
Turn 1 or turn 3.
Yeah, he's backed off a little bit now.
I think David's best plan here is to just let the 8 hook up with the 42 and go on by.
That 8, I was just gonna say, the 8 of that 8 of Rob Evans is definitely catching up to the 2 of them. So he's definitely recovered from that little accident he had before.
See, I know how much David loves running these packs. Like, if he's not leading the pack, he's getting the lead, because it's the most comfortable thing really to have. And you may argue like there's pressure from behind, but you're almost the controller of the pack. You have control over anybody. If you can string them out side by side and you keep splitting the draft, you are set, and you will have that pack you will have them on strings. You will be just pulling strings. And it's so interesting to see, because I know how much David loves kind of staying up front, leading laps, and like manipulating the pack behind him, which is a really good skill to have as a driver. But I mean, I don't know. I'm getting a little worried about that 42 right there. And I thought Rob got in the apron again, I believe.
It was getting. What was that again? I'm sorry.
I think Rob got in the apron again. That's why he's a little bit farther back.
At least it didn't end the way it did before, though. Hopefully. It seems like Jimmy slid all the way back. The 81 of Jimmy Powell is all the way at the back of the field, and that was a tough event for him. It looks like he did really get the brunt of that. But the 42...
No, you can go.
No,
this is how uncoordinated we are, guys, all right? This is like the the behind-the-scenes stuff.
Yeah.
If you're ever wondering, it can get pretty bad in here. Not one to tear into our own program, but like sometimes you just can't get all you can out of it.
But it looks like
I can't watch that. That's so that 42 is getting a little too close.
He's not touching bumpers though. So far, it's pretty good.
Not yet.
Yeah, I don't know.
I have noticed he's been letting off a little more.
Yeah, he's right on that bumper now.
That stupid Xfinity rule. It's like you can't lock bumpers. We don't have that, so I guess he's just trying to stop wreck from happening. But the 8's already catching back up, so I think he's gonna hook up with somebody and make a move on David. But I know if they get side by side, David's gonna have him. But you really don't want to have a big of a lead here. You want to either be leading by a few inches, or you don't want to be leading at all. Because if you have a lead by like 2 car lengths, that's so vulnerable to be as a driver. Because if someone hooks up behind you and they start running, they will get to you quick, and they can really feint you out. And it's so hard because the draft is so important. As a leader, you can't really do anything, because if you go high and they cut low, you lose position. If you stay low, they can take a position. If you stay high, they're going to take it. So you either want to have a lead by like a few centimeters, or you don't want to have one at all. Because if they hook up behind you, you're going to lose the lead.
And it also depends on the angle that you get when you're right behind that car. Because often, I'll often lay back a little bit. Because if you get too close and you get that wrong angle, that's when a pit maneuver can happen. You can spin out a car when you really didn't want to. Already, I see the touch from the 68. We are on board right now with Edwin Justice in the 42. He did get a pretty good bump there, and I think it was exactly what I just said. And I think he might have got that bad angle let off, and good thing he didn't spin out David Alvarez, who is leading right now. And Rob Evans in the 8 just picked up second place. He dropped back a little bit. So definitely, I think that was kind of what I was just talking about, that bad angle. You don't want to get in that wrong spot, because then if you do, you're going to get that corner, and you're going to spin that car out. So that's
that can spell disaster for
exactly.
cars there.
Exactly. But definitely, it's an interesting race so far here at DaytonaBR for the Daytona 250. It is definitely excitement to see here. The top 3 are battling right now. If we want to give a rundown of who is leading right now, David Alvarez obviously in first place with in the 68 of the Coca-Cola 68. Sorry for my weird just mental wall. You'll notice that from time to time. Rob Evans in second place. Oh yeah, that's for sure. I like to think I am, but no. But anyways, Rob Evans in second with the number 8. He is, and then also third, Edwin Justice, who slid back. I'm interested to see what happened to Zachary Stecker. I see Brady Crum in 89 is retired, and Zachary Stecker is, I think he parked it. He's 9 laps down. I have no clue what occurred.
Zachary Stecker's sitting in a nice, healthy 70-degree angle on pit road. I don't know.
Yeah, another AFK moment? Question mark.
That might be an AFK moment, because if that was him entering pit road, he would have backed it out already and pulled it back in, or he would have just came around again another time.
Yeah, so Kurt Scott in the number 15, he's in 4th. DL Hopkins is up in 5th. Jimmy Powell is just not having a good day. He is all the way back in 6th place. He is about 35 seconds behind the leader. He is definitely in no man's land. So it's just not going to cut it. But, yeah, that bad to see with Brady Crum and Zachary Stecker. That means we're down to 6 cars right now that are running. But again, we're having a tight battle. Looks like the 42 got a little loose. He's trying to pass the 8 of Rob Evans. And let's see. I don't think he could do it. I think Rob gets second here. Oh, no. Edwin moves up there.
Now here's the bumper game again.
Yeah, we'll have to see if he's riding that bumper. But it's definitely an interesting fight for this top 3 position. Already, I could see him trying to make that move. Looked like he was for a second there. But seems like he's in a pretty comfortable position right behind it. He's not riding the bumper completely, but
he's getting close. So we're gonna do something special for these guys. You know, back of the pack doesn't get much love, so you know what, we're gonna give them some. So sitting at P6 is Jimmy. He is absolutely gone. There is nobody within. Actually, I believe the leaders catch up to him again. Yeah, I think they're entering.
Yeah, they're coming around.
So Jimmy was really strong, and he was going to look for a good performance today, but that wreck really threw him off his game. I don't know, maybe he has some engine damage there, and he just doesn't have the draft. So he's out of there. He's going to be laps down. And here we come to DL Hopkins. Now this guy's been running since like 2002, 2003 online. So he might have had Sierra servers when he was like playing this game online. So one really good thing to happen now is that when other drivers host other than Sierra, like if you weren't close to Papyrus or Sierra headquarters, you weren't going to have the greatest connection. And there was probably a lot of kind of, back in like 03, the internet probably wasn't too good, and you would have more outages and more latency. So now he's probably getting used to it again now that maybe there's a host closer to him. You know, internet's come a long way, and now kind of it's more stable connection. So he's probably able to get away with more than he used to. But yeah, actually, Jimmy got lapped in. The 15 and the 86 are coming up on him.
Yeah, they're
The
all.
86 is
Hopefully,
going
I'm
for the
hoping that
pass.
Jimmy's staying a little high here to let the drivers go by. He goes up high and lets.
Taking it 3 wide.
Yeah.
They're good now. But that was a little bit of a scary moment there.
Yeah, so definitely, it's just not a good day for Jimmy Powell in the 81. Oreo 81, that is. He's gonna have to be. He's gonna have to eat some Oreos and maybe get some strength here for the next race.
Yeah, he's
So it'll be. Yeah. I see that 56 of Zachary Stecker still again at that 70-degree angle on pit road. Oh, he is moving now. He is.
Oh my God.
He has returned. Yes, the 56 is coming back out on track right now, and yeah, he probably is a good amount of laps down. He is 14 laps down right now. So the question is, will race control actually give him his laps back, or is he going to have to fight all the way back up? I'm sure he will on the caution, though. We'll have to figure that out. But Zachary Stecker,
couldn't even do that.
yeah, I don't know. But Zachary Stecker is indeed back out on track, so it's good to see him back, and not good for 14 laps down, though. But still, David Alvarez in that 68 up in the front. Edwin Justice still getting a little tight on that corner, on the back end. He's up in second, and he is just fighting for that lead. Rob Evans in the 8. He had a little trouble earlier coming below the track and taking Jimmy Powell with him, unfortunately. He actually fought his way back up. He's in third right now. So definitely, it's a good battle here. Definitely at Daytona BR. We are on lap 28. We are just about a quarter of the way to the end here. A little over a quarter. 28 we are on. About to be on lap 29.
I'm worried for the pair of the 68 and 42, not just because of they might spin out, but also because I bet you that 42 is running real hot right now because he's been on his bumper for a while and he hasn't let that car breathe. Well, he just did in turn 1, but he hasn't done it much, and he's been right on his bumper. So he's probably pushing water right now because it's such a weird setup game with super speedways because if you're planning on leading, which is the hardest thing to plan on too, by the way, you have to have a good gear so that you can stay in front of somebody and they can't suck up and get a run on you. But if you're going for like more of a conservative setup where you're going to move through the pack, you want to make sure you have really good like aero and you have a good car that can track right and like get up to other cars' bumpers. But that usually means a tire pressure or a grill tape adjustment. And if the 42 upped his grill tape at all, he's going to be running a little hot behind David here. And even the lead car can suffer from this because with the draft, he's getting pushed faster. And when these engines get to high revs, they can get hotter. So he might be making David get a little hot too. But I can tell you that 8 has a lot of air between them, so he might not be running too hot. But as you can see, he can't really get up to those guys quite yet. So maybe he's running a different kind of setup. But that's the most important thing you want in plate racing, and it's so hard to get both because if you end up making a passing gear setup, and then you end up getting the lead, then you're kind of strung out there, and there's nobody to suck up to, and then everyone's coming up on you now. So it's hard. It's a really hard balance. But that scares me for multiple reasons. They could spin out, or they could just get the engines real hot.
Yeah, and it is very interesting to see that the 42 is, like you said, he's not really peeking out too much to grab some air. He's just stuck right behind that rear end of the 68. And the question is, I don't know if he's maybe trying to play it safe and not really maybe wait a little till a little later on to try to make a move, but yeah, he peeks out some more to get some air. So I mean, the question is it really benefiting him a lot, or is it just kind of little bits at a time? But regardless, he holds second place right behind David Alvarez in the 68, and he's pushing it. He got up there on a pretty good pit stop. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, he started pretty far back in the field. I might be wrong on that, but
no, I believe he had front row. I want to say
it could be right.
I think he had P2. I can't be sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I might be wrong on that. I'm not sure, but Very interesting, though, to see him. Definitely exciting to see him up in the front with that 68 of David Alvarez, who's had a lot of racing experience. You would probably know better than that than I do, Travis.
Oh yeah, me and David race a lot. He's a great guy. He definitely knows how to wheel a car, and I know he loves these plate tracks. He can do really good at these. I'd say it's just down to maybe his setups and maybe his strategy. They maybe aren't the greatest. Like, he can win races on them definitely, but like sometimes he doesn't really plan to win a race, and then he ends up winning it. And then when he puts a little stuff into setups and like kind of strategy and stuff, it doesn't quite work out. And I mean, that's another thing, is strategy. You have your plans, people have theirs, but you're gonna have to make a change. Like, if a big pack is coming into pit, you really want to pit with them, even though if you have, I don't know, 10 laps on fuel, because you want to be in the draft. If you lose that draft, you're done. So I mean, if it maybe like you had other cars behind you and they had fuel as well, then yeah, you can make that strategy call and come in later. But if the big pack's coming in, you want to come in, because once you lose that draft, you lose all your hope of winning, unless there's a caution. And I mean, there could be a chance of it, and even then, if there's a caution, then you'd still be out on track, and you can just pay down the yellow. So it's really a matter of luck and kind of playing it. It's almost just like many people say, it's a chess game at 200 miles an hour. It's not easy, and you have to make a lot of decisions that are really quick, and that could really impact your race. Like, you could take a half can of fuel on a green flag stop. If someone else doesn't take fuel, you can lose 5 seconds. It's insane, like the amount of a minuscule adjustment like that is insane.
Yeah, definitely, and I've definitely learned that lesson. Even racing at plate tracks, you know, I always think the undercut will work, but it just doesn't on plate tracks at all.
Nah, the only way you undercut and make away with it is if there's a caution. I mean, I'm not saying undercutting is a bad strategy by any means. If there's anybody watching it that short pits, I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm just saying that it works better on shorter tracks. And I believe actually the 42 is making a move.
He is making a move right now, and as you can see, David Alvarez is coming up high, and
I think he may have let him by, or he's pitting.
He is pitting. He is. The 68 of David Alvarez is pitting.
He's got it down.
Yes, he is pitting, and now Edwin Justice in the number 42. He is the new leader here at DaytonaBR, right behind, or he's actually leading ahead of the number 8 of Rob Evans. And now the question will be, can he hold that lead, or does the 8 make that move pretty soon and pass him? Probably the stupidest question ever, but I said it.
David had a slower box adjustment than I would expected him to have. That's going to really hurt him out on track. But that also shows the effects of aero and like air on a car and fuel mileage. I believe he only took right sides, by the way. But you can see that Edwin was that his name? Edwin? I don't know.
Yes, Edwin Justice.
Yeah, Edwin. All right. So he was really running them hard on the bumper, right? So when that happens, Edwin definitely has way less air resistance than David does. And that really shows, because if you have more drag, you're using more engine power to go like the same speed. So that means David was running through fuel faster than Edwin was. So I believe Edwin might be able to stick it out for another few laps here if he was saving that much behind David. He was really on him, so he was getting the air resistance bonus. And it really shows how much of an enemy that air is at these tracks. So I believe David's a lap down, so he's going to be waiting on everyone else to pit. But that was kind of a slow entrance.
Yeah, definitely. Edwin Justice is in the lead. Rob Evans in second. D.L. Hopkins is up in third. The veteran, the old veteran, he's returning. D.L. Hopkins up in third. David Alvarez is in fourth. He is a lap down now. It is scored. Kurt Scott a lap down in 15th. Jimmy Powell 2 laps down in 6th. And Zachary Stecker still 15 laps down in 7th. And a retirement for Brady Crum. In the 89, he is retired, and he is in 8th, dead last. So, eek for him, definitely. But it's great to see D.L. Hopkins in the 86 coming back to online racing, specifically in NR 2003. He's up in 3rd place right now. He is definitely making a mark right now. But, of course, that can all change once he comes down pit road. I'm not sure if he has yet.
Yeah, I don't believe he has, but it really shows. No, he's pitting this time. But it really shows the experience that you can get when you run online. Like, if you started back in 04, you'd have more knowledge of the engine than some of these guys do. But he might be a little rusty because he hasn't come on for a while, and I believe he just sped on pit road.
We can look. The 86.
Yeah, I believe the pit road speed is 55. Correct? I think he really got it in hard.
Yeah, I believe it is, and we can take a look back on the replay here to see if he indeed came in a little hot. And looking up on the top of the screen, he did come in. He clocked in at about 62, so that might not work out too well for him.
Yeah, for me, as soon as he crossed that line is that dictates when the pit road speed starts.
That is the potential for a black flag from him. So that's an unfortunate circumstance for him. It depends on if the race control actually does clear it or not. Sometimes with leagues, they may actually clear speeding. I mean, obviously, it doesn't encourage it, and quite frankly, it's probably not the best thing to do, but some leagues do it. Hopefully, race control will actually have him serve that black flag, but it depends. It's all based upon what the race control decides to do. But definitely that he clearly was coming in a little hot down pit road.
Yeah, we got that OMG in chat. Yeah, he definitely hit that line a little too hard. He
did. But currently, Edwin Justice still holds the lead ahead of Rob Evans in the 8. Rob Evans rocking that classic Dale Earnhardt Jr. Budweiser scheme. I believe he told me it was a classic scheme of something, but I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, I think it was like the 50th anniversary of the Bel Air, I believe, because it was ran in 57. That was a paint scheme he ran in 07.
Yeah. I kept thinking of the I think it was a scheme he ran in 2001. It was I think it was the MLB All-Star game? Or was it the World Series? I can't remember.
I believe I have a diecast of that one somewhere. It was All-Star game. I know that.
I think it was, yeah. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, I have it actually back here. Wow, funny story. Yeah, it was the All-Star game, 2002.
A little R&R behind the scenes here.
Yeah, I have like select few diecasts. I'm born into a junior family, so that's what we got around here. Earnhardt Jr., Earnhardt Sr., stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's obviously that classic 24. Yes, it's glad to see Jeff up in the Fox booth, but it would be much better to see him out on the racetrack. I mean, you never know. He could make a return. Especially, I know last year he subbed for Dale Earnhardt Jr. a little bit. No, actually, I think it was 2 years ago. It was 2016, I believe. He subbed in for Dale Jr. a little bit.
I believe, yeah.
I know Indy was one of the races, and there was a couple others I believe he subbed in for, but
I don't know if it was the latter half of the season or was like kind of middle of it.
I remember it being Indianapolis was one of them. I know. But definitely he's living the retired life, but definitely it's great to see him up in the Fox booth with Mike Joy. Larry Mack, NDW. So it's definitely good for him. But I see the 86 coming back out of pit road. I'm wondering if he served that penalty.
He served the flag.
Definitely, and it's going to be an unfortunate circumstance for him as we look at the standings. It's going to put him 2 laps down right now. So currently, the only 2 that are on the lead lap are Edwin Justice in the 42 and Rob Evans in the 8. They are the only 2 cars on the lead lap right now. David Alvarez and Kurt Scott. David Alvarez in 3rd, Kurt Scott in 4th. They are both a lap down. Jimmy Powell and DL Hopkins are 2 laps down. Jimmy Powell 5th, DL Hopkins 6th. And Zachary Stecker is in 7th with 16 laps down. Brady Crum is retired in 8th place in the 89. Rob Evans is coming out pit road right now. I'm assuming it's for another round of pit stops. We'll have to see here. The 56 is still out, and I believe the only one that's pit is Rob Evans, so I'm wondering if it's the next round of pit stops. I believe Jimmy Powell in the 81 is coming down pit road as well. We'll have to see if any other cars come down. DL Hopkins is
some of the rush showing by the 86. I'm in no way saying these not talented, but that's like one of the things that you really gotta like practice for. And entering pit road, just that little too much fast, like a little.
It's one of the amateur mistakes you don't really want to make.
Yeah, but we're all prone to them. We can all
exactly. I mean, everybody has those mistakes that they make, as long as they learn from them.
Oh, Jimmy missed the stall a bit.
Well, we will.
Oh yeah, he went off pit road.
He is down, and we can take a look at the replay here and see.
Yeah, he definitely took it off pit road, and you had to back up.
That's one of the key things that in NR 2003, that's another thing that you will see a lot, because it's not like iRacing where you can have programs that will actually tell you where your pit box is and give you a countdown. In NR 2003, you have to know where your pit box is. And if you don't, good luck with that one, because stuff like that could definitely happen where you just completely miss pit road. And then you got to back up, and then it makes your pit time longer. And then, yeah, it's just not good.
And even that little backup that he had, that could have cost him 10, 20 seconds on the track.
I see, a crash from the 42. He's coming down pit road. I'm wondering what occurred there.
He blowed that hood up bad. He's not getting it.
Yeah, he tried to let off, and he lost that back end, and he hit the wall big time.
He's hurt.
That is an unfortunate event for the 42 of Edwin Justice. He was in the lead. I'm pretty sure he's not going to be in the lead any longer, unfortunately. That was a hard lick right into the wall there.
I can tell you that.
Yeah, that is not good for him. He's, not good. Well, we can see, I believe, I would assume Rob Evans is he's not the leader. Actually, he still scored the leader. Probably no longer pretty soon.
Yeah, I believe that the 42 is going to have to sit in pit road for a little longer, get that damage repaired.
That's going to hold him back quite a lot. David Alvarez is in second, so...
Off, by the way.
What's that?
Might take his hood off. I don't know if his crew's going to take it off or not.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. We will have to see. But David Alvarez is in second. I'm assuming he's going to take first place again once they come back around, and then our 2003 scores the next lap. And we'll have to see. I see Kurt is fighting. It could be a fight between David Alvarez and Kurt Scott for the lead once they come to the line to take on lap number 47. We are almost halfway home at DaytonaBR for the Daytona 250, the NASCAR Classic Cup Series. So definitely. Oh.
Yep, the 42 is gone. The 42 disconnected.
The 42 is gone. That is.
Put him 6th place. No,
yeah, he has retired.
Place.
He has retired from that. So definitely, it's that was a
really tough break for that guy.
That was devastation right there. I mean, he literally he hit the brakes. He lost that back end, and he took a hard lick into the wall. So yeah, that was not cool for him. But up in the front right now, we got David Alvarez and Kurt Scott. David Alvarez of Alvarez Motorsports and Kurt Scott of wink wink, Sean Fay Motorsports. So hopefully we can get an SFM first place finish. You never know.
There you go. Huh?
You never know. But
all these mistakes that have happened on pit road, actually, these have happened to me within the week. I think it was DSC. I'm leading at Dover. I had not even a lap lead. If I came back in, I would have been P2 again. But I spun it coming on pit road, and I got hit. Someone coming in. So everyone makes those mistakes. And missing the stall, Jimmy. I did that during the birthday bash. I do that pretty much every race. That's another thing with setups too. If you have your brake bias set kind of high, because if you don't like it too low, if you have more to the back, you might spin out when you try to brake on track if it's like a shorter track. So you really have to time the braking distances, because it'll definitely change that. But the 86 speeding, I did that yesterday at Warner Cup. I spun on pit road. So we make these mistakes very frequently, as you can see. That I've done 2 of these within the same week. So
yeah,
it's really common for these drivers to happen. But it sucks to happen.
You try to learn from it, but I mean, of course, as I had said earlier, it's not like I forget what the program's called in iRacing, but it tells you where it actually gives you a countdown to where your pit box is.
Yeah,
and
3, 2, 1 box, whatever.
Nah, I don't think that's it that I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of something else, but
well, that's not the name of it, but that's what you get.
Yeah, it'll give you a countdown to your box. I mean, within our 2003, you don't get that. You got to know where it is, and if you don't, good luck, because it's just not going to work.
All we have is about like a 3-second heads up with that flag man dropping that what's it called? Number.
The lollipop, isn't it?
Something like that. That's what they
Something
call
like
it.
that. It's
when
lollipop.
that drops, you have like 3 seconds.
And as soon as you see that, and as soon as you see that drop, that's when you know you got to pit. So definitely, it comes at you quick.
Full field, you can definitely miss your pit box. Like if you race offline with 42 AI and you just start the race without qualifying, and you go on pit road and you don't know where your stall is, you're gonna have to go around again. So it's all depends like how big the field is, but you can definitely miss it, and it's hard.
Yeah, it's definitely not something you want to have happen, but still, David Alvarez is in the lead, and Kurt Scott is behind him in second. They are both battling. We are past halfway here at DaytonaBR. Still got another 49 laps to go. We are currently on lap 51, so definitely we have another 49 laps to go, almost 48. We'll have to see what happens to these drivers. David Alvarez is still holding on to that lead. It's not too much. I mean, Kurt's trying to make a move, but doesn't seem like much. He's still hanging back there. Probably maybe trying to conserve, trying to not make too many stupid moves, and try to keep, basically conserve, like I just said, and keep it safe. But,
yeah, and maybe pull what the 42 was pulling with that fuel strategy, because if the 15 can last till the end on this stop, that'll be great. That'd be perfect for him. All he needs to do is really save. But I don't know what the fuel mileage is here, so I couldn't really tell you.
Yeah, it looks like
it's 39 laps on a tank, but I think he saved a little bit. So they're gonna have to come in again, unless there's a caution.
Yeah, we'll have to see. It looks like Kurt is indeed peeking out though, so at least he's trying to grab some air from that front end. So he's backing up a little bit. I'm wondering if it's more conservation or if he got a little loose or something, but he has dropped back a little bit, not too much, but just a little bit. David Alvarez in the Coca-Cola 68 Dodge still holds on to the lead behind Kurt Scott in second. Taking a look at the rest of the field, I see Zachary Stecker up back in the 7th again, and most of these drivers are in no man's land. We got the 86 of DL Hopkins in 4th place, again in no man's land. And then we have Jimmy Powell in 5th place, trying to catch up to Rob Evans in the 8. He's still farther back. I don't know if he's really going to have enough power or enough, I guess. He's not going to have enough to get into the draft, but Rob Evans is in 3rd place, again in no man's land. I don't know. I mean, he's just not going to have anything to really work with. Really, it's just Kurt Scott and David Alvarez up in the front that are really competing somehow. All the other drivers have just kind of, I mean, we had earlier Rob Evans in the 8 and he got a little too low down on the track and unfortunately spun up the track, got into the 81 of Jimmy Powell, which kind of ruined his day, unfortunately. And then after that, we had definitely big devastation from the 42 of Edwin Justice. That was not a good thing to have happen to him. Coming out pit road, and he just took it a little too hot, lost that back end, and hit the wall coming into the pit entrance. So definitely not a good day for him. And yeah, and he eventually retired as a result to that. So definitely right now the battle is on between Kurt Scott in that Napa Auto Parts 15, rocking some Michael Waltrip colors, and also the 68 Coca-Cola Dodge of David Alvarez. So that's really what the battle's at right now. Unfortunately, all the rest of the field is pretty much in no man's land. I've said it about 8 times, and I'm going to say it some more.
I'm going to desecrate his sponsorship. I'm going to get some Mountain Dew. I'll be right back. I'm going to have to leave you alone for a second. But I'm dying of heat stroking here already. I might have to turn the fan on.
Oh, Jimmy Powell in the 81 got a little loose. He slid down a little low on the track and came up, lost it a little bit. And yeah, that did not work out very well for him for a second there. DL Hopkins is right now in 4th, trying to catch up to Rob Evans. And the question is, DL Hopkins is 2 laps down. Rob Evans is on the...
Alright, I'm back.
The one thing that you will not see in a actual live race is commentators just saying, I'm going to take a break for a second and coming back. So.
Well, I had to get Mountain Dew. I'm dying. Sorry,
yeah.
I couldn't get a Coke.
Yeah, it is in real life, it is a dying night up here in the Northeast. It's very humid and hot and sticky, and there's still storms to come, so yay.
Yeah, that makes no sense. Mother Nature's being a little bipolar today, but if you hear a wind tunnel going on, that's my fan. I'm sorry. If it's really that bad, just let me know in chat and I'll take it off.
All right, yeah, definitely.
Like what,
Definitely.
Definitely enough time, but just had to make sure I don't, die of dehydration and whatever. But it's a good race today.
It is, definitely.
Not sponsored by Mountain Dew, all right?
Yes, not sponsored by Mountain Dew. I mean, it would be cool if it was, but it's not. So.
Yeah.
But currently we are on laps.
I might have to take Mountain Dew as a sponsor since Jeff's gone. So, yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, back
You
to
didn't
the
hear
race
that from me,
here.
Jeff, if you're watching.
Yeah. But 58 laps in. Still, no surprise. David Alvarez in the 68 up in front. Kurt Scott in the 15 right in second place. He's peeking out a little bit, trying to grab some air. Just like Rollo is right now, as we call him, Travis Rollo. And his nickname is Rollo because, well, his last name is Rollo with an N. So, I mean, really, it just speaks for itself.
Pack of Rollos. Those are good.
Yeah. Every time you go to the grocery store and you grab a thing of Rollo, you will think of Travis Rowland, hopefully.
Yep.
At least I do. But anyways, back to the race. Jimmy Powell, unfortunately, getting lapped again. He's staying high, and the leaders pass him. He is at least two.
Tough day for him. He was really excited for this race today, and it just didn't work out his way. He was really excited for Chance 3 to have a good shot at this. But now we have the 08 this going early in the race. We have the 8 P3 and the 81 4 laps down. Good thing Oreos are a comfort food because he's going to need some comfort after this race. But
yeah, he's going to need some comfort, definitely, because he is 4 laps down right now. And that is just not a good... I mean, it's unfortunate to be in the situation he was when the 8 of Rob Evans came a little down, a little too far down, and came up into him. It was not a good place to be. I mean, it wasn't really much for him to do. I mean, it kind of just happened, and it just was not a good day for him. But definitely I'm prone to that bad luck too, unfortunately. It's a miracle when I can actually be up in front and win races. Often it's just bad luck for me, but yeah, definitely it's a bad day for Jimmy Powell in the 81. Hopefully he can recover next week at Atlanta when all the drivers will be racing there, and it will be the Bass Pro Show. What's that?
Is he racing Atlanta?
That is unknown, but I would assume he is. You never know.
All right, so if he's not in here, I don't know, I might be in the booth again. I don't know, I might have to run Atlanta. But, I mean, actually, you know what? I'm not going to give Jimmy some grief. I know that he is probably the most comfortable driver on track right now because he has no pressure from anywhere. So, he's sitting comfortable. Not sitting pretty, but he's sitting comfortable. So, I can assure you, he is no pressure anywhere.
Definitely, and I mean, it's... You know what? It's the first of 25 races this season, so he's got a while to go. And especially with this chase format and this point standings, he's got some room to fill. So he can fill it up with those Oreos, hopefully. But currently we are on lap 61 right now. Still David Alvarez in the lead. Kurt Scott behind him in second. Third place goes to Rob Evans. He is the only car besides David and Kurt that is on the lead lap. DL Hopkins is 2 laps down in fourth. Jimmy Powell in the 81 is unfortunately 4 laps down and in 5th place. Edwin Justice had an unfortunate event occur when he slammed into the wall near the pit entrance. He has since retired. He has scored 6th place right now. Zachary Stecker is 17 laps down in the 56. He's in 7th. And a retirement early on from Brady Crom in the 89, who was in 8th place, or has scored 8th place. And I'm going to admit it right now, I have no clue why he retired. Brady Crom in the 89.
I believe that was the AFK incident, and I'm not quite sure he really meant to do that.
Yeah, that could have been a possibility.
Maybe it was just like, maybe he just thought like, oh, I gotta get off track and like retire. There's no like get out of car button. It's like retire. So
that could be a possibility, but definitely it was unfortunate. Oh, the 8! Oh, he's into the wall. Got into some action there with, I believe it is DL Hopkins. He tried to come a little high, and DL, I'm not gonna lie, the 86 did not give the 8 too much room to work with, and that 8 got into the wall, and that could have been a bad day for him, but he slid back a little bit. Oh, and the 81 of Jimmy Powell has slid. He saves it. Has the caution come out is the question. There is no caution yet. That pace car is
Yellow is
still
not
staying
out.
there. Yeah, that was a very, not more bad news for Jimmy Powell. Again, looking at the replay, he got too low, and again, as you had talked about earlier, Travis, when you get too low and that car just does not balance very well, it can lead to some unfortunate events, and that's what occurred right there with the 81 of Jimmy Powell. More bad luck for him, and it's just, this day could not get any worse for him. It's just not good.
Yeah, no, the Chance 3 cars are apron magnets today, it seems. I don't know what that is, but, like, I don't know. It's even worse than the tri-oval, because that's when the car is the lightest. Because there's less banking. It's like a really, kind of not sharp corner. It's kind of shallow banking. And you come right off to the flat after, so it's a really kind of weird transition. And if you got on the apron in there, you're more likely to go around than in the actual corner, because you have more banking to save you in the corner.
I believe he spun out some more, too, Jimmy, in the 81. He must have got loose again. He's down pit road right now. So, I mean, it's just getting worse and worse for him.
Tires, definitely.
Yeah, there could be a potential. He might just say, screw it, I'm going to park it. And then we'll have to figure out if either he makes adjustments or if he just parks it. Because it's...
Yeah, I don't know. Let me check that entry again. I don't know what happened to him.
Yeah, we saw some smoke there in the back, and he is...
Yeah, actually, I think he had a left front down. That's what it was. The left front sagging down, and it's on the valence.
Yeah, he's right now grabbing some tires down pit road, so he is going to be staying out on track, it seems. He's just grabbing tires, and that could have been that could have been it.
Yeah, he smoked him hard coming in. He did get on the limit, though, but that was definitely...
DL Hopkins in the 86 is also down pit road. So he'll be coming in to make some adjustments.
His second stop, or maybe he's making some sort of adjustment.
Again, he has no clue where his box is, so yeah, he came a little too hot. He's gonna have to back up, and then he backs up too much, I believe. He might need to come forward a little bit more. Wow, and there we go. He is in the box right now. See, again, that's just the common issue everybody has is, can they get to their box properly? Because it's just not, it ruins pit times. It honestly does. But you know what? Unfortunately, everybody experiences it. And, I mean, it's time somebody makes something that tells us where our boxes are so it helps us out. So, yeah.
It's definitely, like... With these long races, it's so easy to lose focus, and if you lose focus for even a second, like, you're focusing on your pit speed, and, like, sometimes your spotter doesn't tell you, like, watch your speed, so you really have to keep an eye on it, and if you're trying to keep an eye on your speed, then you miss your box, or if you pay attention to your box, you can speed. So it's really a lot of things you have to keep track of, and losing focus is really bad in kind of sim racing and motorsports in general. You really don't want to lose focus for too long.
I believe, sorry to cut you off there, Travis, but the 81, I believe, is down a tire again. He's coming back down pit road once more.
That might have been just a tire failure. I don't believe that was...
His car's bouncing. It's doing a little bouncing action.
Let me check. That might have been Goodyear. I don't know.
I don't know. His car's kind of bouncing, but he is back down pit road once more.
I think he just lost a tire going into 3.
Yeah. I don't know what the crew... It sounds like the crew of the 81 has eaten too many Oreos to even think about Jimmy's car, because I don't know. He's back down pit road again. It's just getting worse and worse for him, unfortunately. The burden of bad luck today. But DL Hopkins is in 4th right now in the 86. We got Kurt and David. David, he gets a little loose. And he keeps it. He almost got into the wall there.
He's definitely way under speed. Yep, we have confirmation from the number 81 that he did lose a tire.
Wow, yeah, that team, man, that 81 team. I don't know what they're thinking. But, yeah, that was...
I don't know what that was.
It was either a driver or a crew thing. I mean, one of the two. And David just completely hits the wall there.
Destroyed that entry.
Yeah, that was not cool for him. Wow, we're already in...
He's not getting his left sides. I hope he didn't need those.
Yeah.
Fuel, but that one was not good.
Same thing with Kurt. He is up against the wall. He only got right side tires. And still, Kurt remains he actually becomes the new leader here at the Daytona 250. He comes out in front of David Alvarez.
Stop for David.
Yeah, that was not cool for David Alvarez. I mean, eek on that one. I will say again, Rob Evans is in 3rd, and then we have Zachary Stecker up in 6th, DL Hopkins in 4th. Jimmy
So
Powell
either
in
a
fifth.
Goodyear thing for Jimmy, or that was maybe a I don't know, lug nut problem. Maybe it was just a routine tire failure. Because I didn't see him get loose. I just saw the car start to lean down on the left front and coming into 3. He didn't get loose or anything. So I don't know.
Yeah,
and
but
actually, it looks like through team communication that Kurt will be slowing up for David, I believe.
oh, so definitely it seems like
That's a shocking.
that is shocking. Definitely, he's giving.
Yeah,
he's
because I mean, if I were Kurt, I would be running away with this because David has no help. He would have to hook up with a lap car, and Kurt's up the road and gone. He's not giving David any draft.
and especially some cross-team assistance. That's a little interesting to see. Both drivers from 2 completely different teams. David owning his own team with Alvarez Motorsports, and of course Kurt Scott with the team of yours truly, Sean Fay Motorsports. It's definitely interesting to see some cross-team action, help people on 2 different teams trying to help each other out. So I mean, it's all about drafting partners, I guess. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, I mean, like with 30 laps to go, hey, you can make friends. With 3 to go, there ain't no friends anymore. So they're probably gonna get together soon, but they're not gonna be there for long.
We have currently 30 laps to go. We have completed 70 laps here at DaytonaBR. We're on lap 71. We still have about 29 laps to go. We clocked lap 70. We are on lap 71 right now. And we still got a little bit of time left. And Kurt Scott he's up in first place. Doesn't look like I don't see any movement between the 2 of them. It doesn't seem like David's getting any closer. So I wonder if that was just maybe a bluff. You never know.
I don't know. He looks like he gained a whole lot of ground. I know that Kurt has to be slowing down because his car was running really good during practice for speed weeks, and I know that David wouldn't catch him in those kind of increments with just a single car run. So Kurt has to be letting off somewhere, unless he's got some kind of engine damage, which I don't know why he would have that.
Yeah, he just basically, it looks like, oh, actually, I feel like an idiot. Because, believe it or not, Rob Evans is in the lead, apparently.
Oh, we missed that. Wait, what?
We completely missed the fact that the number 8 of Rob Evans is in the lead right now.
On our broadcasting, we would like to request that we get maybe some like a stem cell, brain cell kind of transplant over here, something of those.
Yeah, like.
We also request maybe a placard for our amazing performance here.
Yeah, that
Because
was.
It's very seldom that 2 blind men can actually commentate a NASCAR race.
Yeah, and not realize what is occurring right now. The fact that Rob Evans is actually in the lead this entire time. Kurt Scott is in second, and I believe David Alvarez is in third. So
See, I have my what is it, S menu, my ticker, and it shows Kurt at the top of the board, but it's actually for P2. I wasn't paying attention.
yeah, I know what. I wasn't even looking at the point.
That makes a lot more sense. Now, that means Kurt was slowing up for David so that he could catch up and hook up and catch Rob. But I believe Rob is pitting this time. So who is that in front of him?
It looks like
Rob. They're catching Rob real fast.
there's Kurt. Look at this. Kurt Scott is passing.
I believe that was for position.
Yeah, that would now. I believe Kurt Scott will be now the new leader.
I think
And-
Rob's trying to stretch it on fuel, but that means the 15 and the 68 already pitted, so I don't know what that strategy's all about.
Yeah, I don't know either. But yeah, that was pure excitement.
Major oversight by our part.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
this couldn't get any worse. Anyway, but Kurt Scott is now the new leader, I'm assuming. We'll have to see once they cross the line, and NR 2003 scores the lap, rather. Now I can't talk. Well, we'll see here, and Kurt Scott will indeed be the leader, and Rob Evans will be second, with David Alvarez in third. So, yeah, I'm not sure what that whole letting up was for. I could see that. Oh, here comes the 8 of Rob Evans. He might have. I'm curious to see if he let David go by on that one. I'm wondering
I think he may have, just to kind of, save some fuel, maybe conserve some stuff.
I mean, we're currently on lap 75. We still have about 26 laps to go. We're still on 75. So once they come to the line, we will have 25 laps complete, or 75 laps completed. Another 24 to go, 25 to go. I see someone down pit road. Jimmy Powell is...
Oh, Jimmy's got an
He's
extra.
smoking. He is just... No. With the fuel. No. His, yeah, the engine is just blown.
And that didn't bring out a caution. I don't think he hit the wall there. I think he might have just...
Yeah, it looks like he blew it. I don't know. Rob Evans is down pit road. And the 68 and the 15 are now actually fighting for the lead. Now actually they're fighting for the lead.
I'm checking. Yeah, he didn't downshift. His engine just blew down the straightaway.
Yeah, that's very interesting to see. Also, Zachary Stecker is coming down pit road. So maybe this... I'm assuming this is the last round of pit stops. I'm going to assume... Yeah, I'm going to assume he's going to park it at this point. I mean, with a blown engine, I don't know if you want to go back out on track. But...
I don't think you can, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But...
Alright, here comes R&R's first ever trash can shot challenge. I don't want to get up again and interrupt the stream, so I'm just going to, like, throw all my trash into my trash can across the room. Kobe. I missed. Great.
Oof.
That went...
Oh, look at this battle here already. David Alvarez and Kurt Scott. Wow, David got a little low, got below the line. It looked like there was a little action going on there for a second. I don't know if they're playing with each other or if something else was going on. I don't know. But it looked kind of...
missed again.
Ah, he missed again.
Oh, my God.
The things that we
Where'd that
do...
even go?
The things we do in the R&R booth. Oh, it looks like Kurt's getting a little low.
Yeah, hell yeah.
He got a quick little junior block there. I don't know if that was proper, if that was necessary, but he had a little junior block action going on with David in the 68. They are battling at lap 78 right now, as Travis Rowland is just taking some shots with his trash and throwing it into the trash can. Did he make it, is the question.
MVP. I got that one.
He got that one. He did get it. So definitely, hopefully that's good luck for either David Alvarez or Kurt Scott. That could be their good luck chance. The fact that Travis Rowland scored into the trash can.
Actually, you know what? I got a KFC bag. It's a shame that Jimmy's not running his KFC scheme.
Oh, yes.
Kobe. Oh, right in first try.
Oh, first try.
I don't know. What else do I have up here? Do I have a coaster for this? Yeah, I'll just throw the whole cup away. Kobe. Oh, I got it in. Okay.
Oh, he made it.
I'm getting better. I don't know what else. I don't have anything else to throw away, really. Take this. Well, I think the tissue box is empty now. The frisbee this like KFC lid into the trash can. No, I missed. We're gonna do some.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, whoa! We got some contact here from David Alvarez. It looks like Kurt Scott is really putting the block on, and he made some contact with David Alvarez in the 68. Almost some action there.
That was kind of like what happened at Warner Cup. It's just like you think you're clear, but like it just hooks the way end of the bumper, and that can really get you out of shape.
Regardless, Kurt Scott is putting on some moves to keep that first place spot.
Eventful day in the booth.
Yeah, just a whole bunch of action going on while we're trying to commentate a race.
I'm trying to get ready for like the last 10 laps, so I want to make sure my room is presentable, and then no one's gonna see it. I want to work in a dirty booth. Come on, who do you think I am?
I see confirmation in the race chat right now. It looks as if that was an accident. That wasn't actual junior blocking or actual action going on there. It looks like it was just an accident. It seems
I'm sure
like...
it wasn't intentional. We still got how many laps to go? What, 20, 21?
And we are currently on lap 80, so at the end here will be 20 laps to go.
So I can assure you Kurt did not mean to block that hard. If it was like lap 5 or lap 3, yeah, I'd understand. But...
currently, Kurt Scott is pretty far ahead in the lead there. He's still got about... I want to say it's about a second gap, about a half a car length ahead of David Alvarez in the 68. Rob Evans in third. He is a lap down. D.L. Hopkins in fourth in the 86. He is 3 laps down. Jimmy Powell has retired with a header issue. He is in fifth. He scored fifth. Zachary Stecker, 17 laps down and 6th in the 56. And Edwin Justice in the 42 is in 7th, retired, as well as Brady Crum in the 89. He is retired as well. So the action is really where Kurt Scott is, as well as David Alvarez. That's the real action right now. We can take a look at some of the other cars here. Zachary Stecker still hanging back there. We got Dale Hopkins. Pretty much all the other cars are in no man's land. It's about the 8th time I've said it, probably. But, again, the action is really where Kurt Scott and David Alvarez is.
All right, that should conclude spring cleaning for the booth.
All right, that's good to know.
I just really wanted to get everything off my desk, like, really badly. It was annoying.
Okay, more spring cleaning.
Sorry about that. It just shows how responsible we are up in the booth. You know what?
We gotta take care of some stuff while we're trying to race, too. I mean...
Yep. Chores take priority, man. You know, I could be calling the last lap of, like, the greatest championship ever, and I'd still be cleaning up my desk.
Yeah, I'd be sweeping the floors while you're calling the last lap.
Yep.
I mean, what else is there to do? I mean, really, the action, again, is just the first 2 drivers. All the rest of the drivers are in no man's land right now.
You know, that's why I have genuine respect for any, like, motorsports commentator for an event that's, like, longer than 3 hours. Because if it ever gets like this, I know that I would not be paying attention.
Yeah, definitely. But we're on lap 83 right now. It seems like both the leaders are catching up to Zachary Stecker. There's a potential he could get lapped here. It'll be another lap down.
The wind tunnel on again. Sorry, chat. I don't know if it's annoying for you, but I'm dying.
Yep.
Cleaning takes a lot out of you, man.
It does. Commentating as well takes a lot out of you. But yeah.
Sitting in the chair is hard.
It looks like Zachary Stecker is about to get lapped because the leaders are coming up close to him. Hopefully he stays high so the leaders can pass him.
He's not going to block for this. He's already 17 laps down. He's got nothing to gain.
I mean, if Robbie Gordon can do it, you never know.
Yeah, but I mean, Zach's kind of that nicer guy on the
Yeah, definitely. And as you have just said, in regards to what you said, he stayed high and let the leaders pass. So he is... Yes, he will be another lap down. Let's see what it scores him. He's currently 17 laps down. He is now 18 laps down. So that AFK moment earlier did not serve to be well for him.
That was a really long one, too. And he was sitting in a really awkward angle, so it probably took him a while to get kind of straightened back out.
Yeah, he just fired it back up and got right back out on track. So... Definitely not a good moment to have happen to him.
But David is trying to close back in on Kurt, though. He's getting up there.
Yeah, he's definitely getting closer. He is currently at the line. He was 0.2 of a second, 0.297 to be exact, behind Kurt Scott, who's in the lead right now. And we're coming up to the last bit of it. We're about to conclude the 85th lap here at the Daytona 250. At DaytonaBR, we are currently on lap 86 now, with 85 laps completed. It was definitely a very eventful race. We lost more drivers than we hoped, but I mean, of course, we hoped that nobody would crash, but fortunately, it just, we had a lot of people we lost that we really didn't want to lose today, especially Jimmy Powell in the 81, and definitely the shocker at the 42 of Edwin Justice. That was not a cool moment for him when he hit that wall.
Shook up the race there.
That was definitely, I mean, he had pretty high hopes there, but it just, that pit entrance, it just does not work out well for you. And it proves you really as you had said earlier, Travis, you do have to practice a lot when it comes to backing down and finding that perfect area to back down. So stuff like that doesn't happen.
Most definitely.
Absolutely. But Kurt Scott still up in that lead. David Alvarez is behind him. We also got, as we can see here, Zachary Stecker is all the way back in 5th. Rob Evans in 3rd. Right now, the question is, he's a lap down. That was the answer to my question. Was he a lap down or not? And the answer is yes, he is a lap down right now.
Questions here.
Yeah, I like to answer my own questions before I even ask the question. But the only 2 drivers in the lead lap right now are the first 2 cars, David Alvarez and Kurt Scott. David Alvarez was 0.397 behind. He is now 0.289, so he gained about a 10th or so. Well, the question is, can he continue to gain? We'll have to find out.
To see 2 guys that really play tracks heading up here and running the race. Like, Kurt's been strong. He's had, what, I think it's all he had 4 top 3 finishes in the entire test season, and 2 of which came from super speedway tracks. He finished P2 here at Daytona, and he won Armory Digital. So he's no stranger to plate tracks. Neither is David. He couldn't show up for most of them, but I know that he's really strong at plate tracks, and he's been practicing a lot with those. So it's really good to see 2 guys that really, really know what they're doing on these tracks, battling and going for the win. It's gonna be a really interesting finish, because statistically, these guys really pull up plate tracks. So I mean, I'll tell you, it's got a lot of talent up front, and we're gonna really see who's got the better car setup, strategy, talent when we come down to about 5 to go. Hopefully, they can get caught back up to each other, maybe like side by side. Good finish, but I know that they know what they're doing, so it's gonna be a good finish.
Yes, definitely. So it's going to be exciting to see what happens. They're almost, not quite, there's 11 laps to go. And the game is getting a little iffy right now, and I'm not sure what's occurring. The server has shut down, it seems. All the cars have disappeared. Don't know what's occurring right now. And the cars have returned.
Actually, we might have Jimmy coming into the booth.
Oh, we might be having a third commentator coming into the booth. It'll be interesting to get an interview with the 81 of Jimmy Powell to be able to see how he felt with today's performance that wasn't too up to par. But at least he could join us for these last 10 laps here. Jimmy Powell, you might be familiar with. He helped commentate with myself at the birthday bash if you watched it. It's up on our Twitch right now, and it's up on our YouTube. If you search Rubbin and Racin Motorsports up on YouTube, you should be able to find us, and you'll find the Travis Rowland birthday bash. You can watch all 100 laps. We celebrated the Tool Man, as I like to call him. He's in the booth right now, obviously commentating for most of the race. Travis Rowland celebrated his 15th birthday at Thompson Raceway Motorsports Park. 100 laps at the Oval, so with those late model, the LMP V2 late model cars. It was an exciting race, and yeah, Jimmy did a great job commentating on that one.
Yeah, and I'm going to interrupt you here, but I got to drag Jimmy up. So we'll do a quick interview here.
So we can grab an interview with the 81.
All right, welcome to the booth. How's it going?
It's going. It's going
well,
quite.
it ain't going anymore for you, apparently. Sorry to say. So,
yeah, well.
Yeah, that fell apart for you.
Stuff happens sometimes, and you know what? I'm not even running for points really. Just running, but it's all right. I think I had a car to go up there and challenge for the lead for the remaining laps, but it's fine.
Yeah, that was a very unfortunate circumstance for you eventually when you got into Rob Evans in the 8. I mean, you had nowhere to go on that one. That was just kind of, oh well.
I think that I could have avoided it. I think that if I broke harder, I probably could have. Although I did have pretty soft brakes, so I don't know.
Yeah, that was evident by sometimes you missed your pit stall. And what really was caught me off guard was those 2 tire failures.
One tire failure was just me hitting the apron, which got me.
Yeah, that was the speed we
loose.
saw that one.
The other one, I was coming out of the pits, and the car veered up onto the banking, and it slid then. And then and both times, it wasn't the tires exploding. The tires exploded once I was spinning. So.
Oh, all right. So yeah, we were wondering about that, and that engine failure, that was
Well, the
random.
engine failure, that was just pretty much the
nail in the
end
coffin
all of
there.
that. And really, it's fine with me because I wasn't going to be going anywhere more than 5th anyway, so that's fine. 6th is fine as well. I'm
not a
fine
bad
with that.
points
At least
day,
I got
yeah.
one of my cars up in the top
Definitely
3 right
a tough
now.
break. A lot of bad luck for you today, though.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but
Bad luck became worse luck for you, definitely, Jimmy. It just kept getting worse and worse for you, unfortunately.
Yeah, it snowballed after that Rob.
Whoa.
Rubbin.
Yes, the 68 of David Alvarez did get a little loose. He came down below that line. It just, he lost that big time.
That area's been a
looked
killer
like
all
he
day,
came
I'm
off the
telling you
corner,
guys.
just got too hot down on the inside, hit the yellow line.
Yeah, it looks like if we review back on the replay, it looks like he slid below that line between turns 3 and 4. He was completely below the apron for a second, and he was just trying to transition, getting back onto
onto the racing surface.
Yeah, definitely. He lost that there, so that's gonna be lots of ground he lost on that one. So definitely he's.
I know. He's real far behind now. I think he's out of the draft.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna be able to fight back for that one.
We pretty much have our top 5 in order here, but unless something happens to the 15, which could be possible. It seems like today a lot of people had loose setups, and the apron has just been a real nuisance for a couple of people. So, looks like that David was just another victim of that.
There's been cars in the apron all day, and it's all about setups, really. Like, if you have it's just front bite. If it turns and it bites too hard, you're gonna go down to the bottom, and you don't want to counter steer, because then you're gonna get real loose. So you want to just kind of like small wheel movements. But even then, that could put you on the apron for too long, and then you're gonna spin out. So it's all about the weather and the setups and stuff. So it's just been a really bad day with that apron for a lot of people today.
And it's cloudy, so there's not much grip on the track as it is. So if you have a loose setup, your car might be going fast, but you really have to keep that car steady through those turns, and that's one of the hardest things to do, especially on fresh tires. Those tires aren't warmed up or anything. You have even less grip than you would having warm tires on a non-grip surface. So it's just a lot of give and take.
Yeah, it was a lot of apron stuff going on down there. Lots of, basically, like Roldo had said earlier, like Travis had said earlier, it was a lot of, what was it you said? It was apron sticking thing.
Well, it was mostly like the car runs different on the apron, and like a lot of times it's all about setups. So I don't want to get too into it, but most teams out here are running real high tire temperatures because you want to minimize the contact patch with the racing surface so that there is less friction. Because if you had kind of like less PSI on the tires, it's going to catch more rubber on the surface. So it's good for grip, but if you're trying to go for high speeds and like good passing speeds, you're going to definitely need to have a higher tire pressure. But that also, it counteracts because you're not going to have enough grip when you come into the corners. So it's cloudy, you're going real fast, you might not have too much grip. So the car will turn down on you, and if you get on the apron, you're not going to have any grip either because the springs are going to be they're going to be compressed on either side, and you're going to try to go around. So even if you had low tire temperatures, oh my God, low tire pressures, you'd probably still go around on the apron, and you'd be running a lot slower. But it's all about how the weather and the setup kind of work in tandem, and how the cars are really set up for this kind of track. So it's definitely something you don't want to happen, but it does happen a lot.
Yeah,
well,
definitely.
Looks like Kurt's gonna be out front for a while here.
We are currently on lap 98, so we still got a couple laps to go, and I
still have a couple laps for stuff to happen. But as far as we can tell right now, we pretty much have all of the we have the final standings in order.
I think we're gonna have our winner here pretty much because David is just completely sliding back. It's just not.
Yeah, he's out of the draft. He's not gonna catch up.
That's unfortunate, hitting that wall. That really messed it up. And he couldn't catch up very well then, and then he hit the apron. That just made it worse.
His only hope was a mechanical failure on the 15, but yeah. I mean it's 2 to go, and he's running strong. His engine's looking great, so.
I'll tell you what, strong run for that 8 car there, top 3, not bad.
Yeah, definitely.
Was a little late getting to pit road there, and I guess that was a fuel strategy type of thing. So. There you go.
Yeah, what really shook it up was the 42 as well. He wrecked it coming in pit road. That was real game changer. Because he was dominating the field. He was right on David, and I guess he was going for some kind of strategy. Maybe he had really worn tires, so he had to come in for a while, and he just went around on him.
Here we go.
Currently, the final lap, not sponsored by Credit One Bank.
There we go. Here they go down into turn 1.
Where's our countdown to green? We need one of those for next race.
All right.
We jump on board with Kurt Scott at number 15, who is currently in the lead. We are on the final lap here at the Daytona 250. It looks like, I'm going to guess it's Kurt Scott here that's going to be taking the win. David Alvarez is way back there.
He's got those Daytona 500 wins on him. Now he's carrying the main team into victory lane, hopefully, off turn 4.
Here he goes into turn 4. And out. Here he comes down towards the tri-oval.
He's got it.
Yes, he's coming to the tri-oval, and Kurt Scott will win the Daytona 250.
And he wins it at the Daytona 250.
That was a good race. congratulations to Kurt. We're gonna have to get him in here for an interview, but that was good.
Definitely congratulations to Kurt Scott and number.
Fuel mileage Daytona race. When's the last time we've seen that?
Yeah, never. And it's Mikey taking it to victory lane too. When's the last time we saw that one?
Exactly. Especially
Lots
Daytona.
Of surprises this race.
Yes, definitely. It's kind of tragic for David as well. I think he kind of anticipated the win, but just got into some difficult circumstances that didn't make him.
It looked like to me that the 15 was blocking a bit, but I don't know. Getting up close to the wall is a gamble in of itself. So you don't really know if it was blocking or if it was just him getting a little too close up to the wall or whatnot.
Yeah, definitely. So here looks like Kurt Scott will be slowing down. He'll be whipping some donuts around here at DaytonaBR. With the conclusion of the Daytona 250, Kurt Scott takes the win here at Daytona. David Alvarez in second place. Rob Evans comes in the number 8 in third place. A 1 lap down. D.L. Hopkins in the 86 in fourth, 5 laps down. Zachary Stecker in the 56 has come in 5th place, 18 laps down. Definitely a tragic AFK for him, what it seemed to be like an AFK. Yes, our one of our commentators is here right now, Jimmy Powell. Finished 6th in the 81 with a header issue, apparently. 7th place, it goes to Edwin Justice in the 42, who had since retired after that tragic hit right out of the pit entrance and pretty much lost the lead there. And the 89 of Brady Crom has retired and has finished in 8th. So definitely interesting to see Kurt Scott take the first win for the NASCAR Classic Cup Series here at the Daytona 250.
There he goes.
There's his donuts spinning around there. Next Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern, you can catch the stream at about 7:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on Twitch. We will be streaming the Bass Pro Shops MBNA 251 live at Atlanta 05. It's going to be definitely exciting for these drivers to head to another track that's hopefully can bring forth some great racing, Atlanta Motor Speedway. So we come at the Daytona. We are at the Daytona 250. Kurt Scott, the winner, doing donuts, spinning around on that grass.
And don't forget, we still have more racing to do this weekend. We still have the trucks, we still have the dirt cars, and we also have the main NASCAR series. The main NASCAR series and the Dirt Fest will happen tomorrow night, and then on Sunday night we'll have the trucks.
Yes, and definitely tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern, you want to tune into Twitch to watch the stream here of the Daytona 200 with the main NASCAR series that'll be running the 2018 Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series cars. So definitely it'll be exciting to follow up, especially if you're following the 2018 NASCAR season in real life. You'll be able to catch all the action for the main series. And as well at 8 p.m. tomorrow night will be the Supreme All Dirt Slugfest with some dirt late model racing. And that'll be exciting for sure. So definitely, I believe it's time we call in Kurt Scott in the 15. I believe let's get a driver interview with him to hear about what he thinks about his win at DaytonaBR. Definitely. If one of us wants to pull him in here.
Yeah, I'll throw him in. Want me to put him in the standby or just throw him in here?
You can just throw him on in here.
All right.
User was moved to your channel.
All right. Hello, Kurt. Mr. Race Winner, how's it feel?
Yeah.
Silence.
I think he's.
Oh, we're gonna have a textual conversation with him apparently.
Text interview. All right.
The quote: "It feels pretty good."
Truer words have never been spoken.
So how was that strategy call when you were letting up for David? Were you trying to just hook up and get by the 8 car, or what was that?
Cue the Jeopardy music.
No, I'm not doing that. No. Not breaking out the xylophone.
All race, I was trying to get David with me so we could lap the field and have a battle between me and him. Yeah, so he was just trying to like get the field locked lap down and have a good battle for the end. So you played that strategy good and you really took it home there.
Definitely made some moves as well to get up to the front, and that was definitely some exciting racing to see. So, I mean, it was some great moves that were made. Well, some could argue that it wasn't great, but it all depends. I mean, definitely at the end of the day, he made some moves, and the number 15 definitely got up to the top and was the winner at DaytonaBR. So definitely it was great to hear from Kurt Scott, or in this case, see the text that he was sending us. I should have remembered the fact that he actually he does have a microphone, I'm pretty sure. But definitely, yeah, that was an exciting moment to see here. So I believe that's going to conclude the coverage for the NASCAR Classic Cup Series. If you tuned in, it was great to see you on the Twitch stream. If not, you could check out.
Interviews from everyone else?
Nah, I think we should be good.
All right.
I mean, maybe we.
I'll just wait. If you record in TeamSpeak, does it like record the whole voice, or just yours?
We should be good for now.
All right. I'll just.
But again, it was great to see you all streaming today, and it was, or all of you watching the stream, that is. And catch us tomorrow night for the main NASCAR series. It'll definitely be exciting to see the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series cars whipping around. You might even see yours
you'll be able
truly.
To hear from me and Sean. I don't know if Travis.
You're not going to hear from me because I will be live on the track.
Oh yeah, you're the one who's going to be on the track. Travis is going to be up here, right?
Yeah, and I'm not running main series.
All right.
But I am running trucks and dirt, so.
All right.
So you will see yours truly at the main NASCAR series. So definitely it'll be exciting to see the driver, all drivers,
And it's
including.
going to be at DaytonaBR as well, right?
And incorrect, it is I believe Daytona SDT.
Oh, okay.
If I'm not mistaken. But definitely it'll be exciting to see them whoop it around Daytona International Speedway. Now I can't talk. This race has got me too excited. But definitely hope you can tune in tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern for the main NASCAR series as Daytona 200 running at Daytona International Speedway. I am Sean Fay alongside Travis Rowland and Jimmy Powell. We will see you tomorrow night, or at least you won't see me. You will see Jimmy and Rollo tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on Twitch. Again, we thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow.